Picture this. You just recorded a podcast episode with a great guest. It went wonderful. You edited it all up. You put it out, and then you thought, I got to promote this thing. So you go back in, you take a couple clips out of some key moments, and you post it up on social media, hoping that the algorithm will catch it and people will see it. If this is you, you are marketing your podcast wrong. So how do we market our podcast correctly? Well, we need a wider marketing plan. We can't just throw clips up and just hope that people will see it. That is part of it. You still want to clip the highlights of your podcasts out, but that's not all we want to do. A good philosophy for a good marketing plan is to meet your audience where they already are. So in this video, I'm going to give you 3 key things to take away for your marketing plan that are simple but highly effective, and you can do them today to start getting results. So number 1 is arguably the best way to market a podcast, period, and that is to go on other people's podcasts. Now, obviously, if they have an established audience that is similar to yours or the audience that you are looking for, then going on their podcast is only going to introduce them to you. And if they like your personality, they like your brand, if you will, then they're going to tune into your podcast. They're going to try and find out more. So go on as many podcasts as you can and leverage that audience. It's already built. You don't have to put the work in. And they're interested in your topic already. And by the way, when you're pitching your show on these other podcasts, try and open up a loop in the listener's mind. So what I mean by that is, let's say I'm guesting on a podcast and I have a theoretical podcast about podcast production. Meta, I know. Maybe I would say, we just had this episode where so-and-so was on. They've been doing this for 10 years. And we talked about the best tools to use in podcast editing. And they gave some very interesting answers. It wasn't what I expected. So tune in for that. You just open up this loop now. Oh, maybe they want to tune in to find out what those tools are. So it's just something to keep in mind. I think that's a pretty good pitch technique. All right, number 2, targeted daily engagement. And what I mean by this is you're going to want to use a keyword search in whatever social media app that you're using and find the people who are talking about your specific niche or your specific subject. And you want to engage with those people who are posting that stuff, but you also want to start a conversation with the people in the comments. Because just like podcasts, people who listen to podcasts, people who comment on social media posts are probably commenting on a lot of different social media posts, and you want to build an engaged audience. Same thing, the base is already there. People who already engage are already there. You want to tap into that. So finding those specific people and starting conversations with them will help get your name out there. It'll help keep them in your mind. And then you can maybe tag some of those people that you have a conversation with in your next post. So the third and final key to a good marketing plan is create stronger micro content clips. So I mentioned before that we still want to use clips from our podcast, but instead of just taking a chunk from the episode and posting it to social media, we want to be a little bit more intentional with how we create our micro content clips. So I'll give you 3 steps that you can use to create killer micro content. Number 1 is create an interesting hook. And you want this to be able to stand on its own. You want this to be one idea, but you want to get the idea of the rest of the clip across very quickly. Number 2 is to expand on that idea. You don't want any deviation at all from that idea. You want to keep it honed in on the rails, pointed in one direction. Because once you start opening up those loops, then the listener starts to get a little bit overwhelmed, and then they start to lose interest. And then third, you want to have a satisfying ending. So something that feels good when it ends. You don't want to end abruptly. You don't want to cut anybody off. You want it to be the finishing of a thought. And that can be kind of difficult, but there usually is somewhere in that podcast where the thought finishes. All right, so that is 3 relatively easy ideas that you can use to help your podcast marketing plan in 2024. Just to recap, go on other people's podcasts. The audiences are already there. They're already established. Targeted daily engagement on social media to build a community there, and then create stronger, more intentional micro-content clips. All right, that is it. Like and subscribe. It helps the video more than you know. And comment if you found this helpful or if you have any other ideas for a good marketing plan for your podcast. All right, that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.